my lane fast, call it high speed. I've been working hard, yeah, I've been working nightly. If you think you'll win, nah, likely. I be taking shots, yeah, cold-blooded, icy. Watching numbers grow is what I call sightseeing. In the front row, run it up when they hype me. The following grows, they know how to ignite me. Call me CEO, I've been running right, see. And I ain't playing games, I create my own lane, making pleasure out of pain, turning losses into.
What's going on, Steeler Nation? How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's had a great week so far. I'm Daniel J. This is the Steelers. We're going to be doing a little Friday night Q&A. Please hit that like button if you can hear me. If I'm coming in pretty clear, hit that like button. If I'm not, let me know in the chat, please. We got a few people in already. It's good. I like to see that. Let's say hello to some of the early on guys. We got Ben's burner. How you doing, Ben? I hope your golf game's going well. A 4-1-2 scene. Here we go. Innocent until proven guilty. He says Steelers kick some Bungles tail and Baker beats the Clowns would make a great week one. I agree. That's funny. We'll talk a little bit about Baker here in a little bit. A Steelers fan. Good to see you. How's it going, George? Good to see you in the chat. So here recently, some news from the AFC North. Baker Mayfield was given away to the Carolina Panthers for a bag of chips, basically, for a 2024 fifth-round conditional pick or something like that nature. So it's not even this upcoming draft. It's the draft after that. And believe Baker took a pay cut so that he could go out there. And he also took a pay cut to go out there. And then the Browns are going to pay majority of his paycheck. So he was destined to get somewhere around $18 million. And then he ended up settling around 15, where the Panthers are going to be taking on about $5 million. And the Cleveland Clowns are going to be taking on the rest. So I think it's funny. They're paying the most. They have the highest paid quarterback room, and are going to be starting Jacoby Brissett or Dobbs week one and potentially for the entire year. They have no draft capital and they're broke. So yeah, way to go. Way to be the Browns. That's the funniest thing. Only the Browns can do that mess up of a situation. But well, anywho, let's see. We have Robert on the show. Robert says, "When will you be having Mason Rudolph on your show?" Yeah, whenever he wants to come on. Come on, Mason. I'm a big fan of Mason Rudolph. You know, I was. Right now, I'm still a fan of his. I'm not going to say I'm not. You know, and if he ends up winning somehow ends up winning the position as the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers starting week one, I'm going to root for him just as if, it was Kenny Pickett or Mitch Trubisky or Ben Roethlisberger. I hope for the best for him. I don't think he's going to be on the 53 come week one. There's not really a room for him. Ben Roethlisberger always had a quarterback to his hip that he liked. And, whether it was Charlie Batch or Landry Jones or recently Dobbs. Well, it's been recently reported that Kenny Pickett loves the 6th-round pick, Oladokun, and they've been conjoined to the hip, and that's going to be his backup dude. That's going to be his guy. In fact, there was a Kenny Chesney concert in Pittsburgh here recently, and Kenny Pickett had his guys and his group of dudes there, and they had a little, shindig and a party, and they were, some team building, and Mason Rudolph had a private section off to the side. And so, not saying that means anything or makes him a bad team player or anything of that nature, but all arrows are pointing that the organization is changing and they're going for a more athletic, mobile quarterback, and have made that choice in Kenny Pickett, and solidifying that choice by picking a quarterback in the first round. So I think that Mitch Trubisky is going to be here as a bridge QB, and bearing injury, I think that this year will be the Mitch Trubisky show until next year. And then we'll see what happens. If Mitch shows up and balls out, then we have him under contract for next year. He could be some great trade bait, so trade capital. But this is the Friday night Q&A, guys. Ask your questions. Ask away. Let's see. Carolina robbed the Browns, in my opinion. I agree, but the Browns kind of put themselves in that position. You know, when they acquired Deshaun Watson without having done anything with Baker, they put this in. Nobody was going to go after him. They showed their cards or their hand way before they were supposed to. You know, they did things backwards, and this is what happens. You know, they waited too long. The quarterback market dried up, and it became very known that, you know, the Cleveland Browns were responsible for $18 million of Baker's contract, and there was nothing that anybody was going to do about it. And so there's nothing they could do about it. And so the ball was in their court, and they held it for too long. The quarterback market dried up, and they got what they deserved. You know, I think that the Houston Texans also should be on the lookout with this, because they kind of enabled Deshaun Watson and what he was doing with everything that's coming out. Let's see. We got a couple of questions. Steelers fan asks, who has the most turnovers for the defense this year? Great question. So last year, TJ Watt got the bag, and TJ Watt got the most sacks. So I'm going to say that Minka follows in his footsteps. He's got the bag this offseason. He is now the highest paid safety in the NFL for the time being. And I think he's going to show up for that. You know, I think that the fact that Omar Kahn was able to get this job done or get this deal done early in the offseason allows for, you know, to get the business out of the way, and allows him to just worry about the game and practice and whatnot, not have to worry about the business of football. And so I think that's a huge advantage going in. He doesn't have to worry about that. His mind will be focused, you know, mainly on the game. And so I think that's going to be an advantage for him coming in. It's another year for him. We brought back Edmonds. I think that pairing with him and Edmonds is good. But the fact that we were able to take care of this situation this early in the offseason with respectively two new cornerbacks on the outside starting, it's a good move. It's a good move. And I think that a lot of teams, I think that he's going to be the guy that's going to end up making the most interceptions or having the most turnovers. And I look forward to it. You know, I think our defense is going to be very, very good. I mean, you can't say we're going to be sneakily good when we're the highest paid defense, but, you know, everybody's counting us out. We're the most underrated team that's out there. And I think that, you know, the Steelers are a team that everybody's counting out, and nobody's looking at them thinking that they're going to do anything this year. We got Mitch Trubisky. You know, the last time he was on a starter for a team, their team wasn't very good. And so, you know, we lost our franchise quarterback. So everybody's just kind of looking at things from a 10,000, foot view. And I think they're allowing the Steelers to fly under the radar. And I think that's going to be very good. And we're going to surprise some people early and often. Let's see what else we got. Robert says, what was the fullback that played for the Steelers? What year? This recently, it's Watt. It's the brother of TJ Watt, Derek Watt. What was the best? There you go. Who was the best fullback that played for the Steelers? I like Rosie. You know, I know it might be recency biased and whatnot, but ever since Rosie has left, that position's not been the same. And you know, he was very low key. His ability to catch the ball was low key impressive. Nobody really talked about it. I remember there was one play in particular. I think it was against the Ravens where he caught it, while being tackled at the same time and in the end zone. It was amazing. But I think Rosie's ability to play, offense, he was underrated as a blocker, and his special teams was just amazing. He was a Pro Bowler for the special team. So Rosie Nix, I think that's going to be my best fullback. Who was yours? Who do you like? But come on, guys. Let's. What other questions do we have? All right, let's see. George says, you feel comfortable with Oladokum backing up Pickett if Mitch gets seriously injured early? I do not feel comfortable if that ends up happening. I think that if that ends up being the case, we will need to bring back a a veteran quarterback, to have somebody that is a veteran behind Kenny Pickett. I think that would be important. I don't think that we would, if we were to go into the season with 4 quarterbacks and leaving Mason as that 4th quarterback just because he's a veteran and knows the offense, then that would be uncharacteristically living in your fear, so to speak, playing just in case we get injured. And for a team that doesn't, I don't think that we would do so. I think that if Mitch doesn't drop the ball, so to speak, and can be a decent quarterback, I think that the clock is, or the hourglass, the sand in the hourglass is falling short for Mason on this year. But we'll see. I think that it'll be interesting. I'm not sure who we could trade Mason to and what kind of capital there is. I mean, it was dried up for Baker Mayfield here recently, and so I think the only team out there right now that's in need of a quarterback would probably be the Seattle Seahawks. So, it would probably be something in training camp and due to an injury. But no, I wouldn't feel comfortable if that's the only other backup we'd have. We would definitely have to bring in a veteran, somebody who, well, and that's the thing. I mean, Matt Canada's offense is very new. He's very new to this, to the team. I mean, to the NFL. So it's not like there's a veteran quarterback out there that's worked under him before that we can bring in that would know the offense. And so it'd be interesting if that were to be the case. But to answer your question, no, I would not be comfortable if that ended up being the case, if Mitch ended up seriously getting hurt. Let's see. What's the next question? Steelers fan asks, who needs to improve more? Oh, Canada's play calling or the execution? Great question. There's been a lot of heat gone towards Matt Canada last year because of his play calling. And I kind of defend him to an extent. He had a rookie offensive line, or a rookie center, rookie left tackle, an offensive line that had no time to gel, that throughout the year was up and down as far as the players that were in the positions. You had, LeGlue in there, Dotson for a period. You had Hassenauer as a center. You had Kendrick Green as a center. So there was a lot of movement. There was a lot of things that were going on. And, the offensive coordinator's job is to, make the best game plan for the players that they have. But, well, let's break this down. I like to break down things. I used to be an investigator, and I like to break down problems. And I think this is one that a lot of people have a lot of questions about, who was at fault more last year, Canada or the team or whatnot. And so let's get into it. The playbook that Matt Canada has is probably the size of a New York phone book, right? Now, that's not what he goes into on game day. What he goes into on game day is a script that they create throughout the week, and it's on a laminated card that everybody sees them carry on the sideline or up in the box. Now, the teams have pro scouts that go out there and watch the teams that they're going to play, later on in the season to get tendencies, personnel, yada, 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 try to figure out, where they're weak, where they're strong, and to guesstimate what the game plan is going to be, right? What the opposition is going to do. And so you get your pro scouts, they get all this information, you get your scouting defense, and then they're going to show you a bunch of things throughout the week as far as what they expect the defense to do, given the look that you're giving them. And based on that, they're going to come up with a game plan, a set of probably 100 plays or so. Now, during the game, the quarterback, depending on the experience and the level of intelligence, so to speak, or maybe not even that, just experience and the know of the playbook, is going to determine how many plays are probably going to be thrown in and the complexity of the offense. And so, for instance, if you had a Peyton Manning on the team, or even a Ben Roethlisberger, where they could take on 2 or 3 plays, read the defense, and assign each receiver an assignment and know what each assignment's going to be and can do that, that's great. But most quarterbacks can't. It takes a while to do so. Well, anyways, I'm going kind of down the wrong rabbit hole there. Basically, what I'm trying to say is it's a team effort. there's a game plan and there's a process that goes in. Now, I know a lot of times there was heat on Canada, and people said that Ben Roethlisberger, when he did no huddle, that he was in charge of the offense and that he ran the play calls better, yada, yada, yada. Those were all still Matt Canada's plays that were all on the script that they did. They practiced that throughout the week. Now, the no huddle, the only thing that I can think of that Ben Roethlisberger probably was doing was when they indicated that he was drawing plays out in the dirt, so to speak. What that probably is him going back to maybe a Bruce Arians or a Todd Haley offense, and just with his experience and knowledge was able to, call something on the field that the defense probably wasn't anticipating because it's not something that was shown recently. And so I can understand that aspect. And when he did that, then yeah, I mean, you're going to fool a lot of the defense because you're pulling something from way back when. But I don't think that was the case most of the time. Most of the time, I think it was Ben able to lock in a personnel or lock in a look that they like, and also the circumstance of the game. Most of the time when Ben was going in no huddle, it was during the end of games. We're trying to catch up, yada, yada, yada. So things were going really quick. And so, teams were playing prevent defenses and allowing things to happen. And so with that being said, it's a team effort, in my opinion. I think when you get a coordinator that is trying to overload a young quarterback, that might be a situation where you have a bad, offensive coordinator. But the schemes and all that other stuff, that's practiced during the week, and that's a team effort from the pro scout to the offensive coordinator to the players that are reading the field. Because once the play is called and they have to then go to the line of scrimmage, and before the quarterback can even say hi, there's so many things that they're looking at. You'll hear the quarterback often say kill, or one time famously Ben Roethlisberger yelled dilly dilly during a play. And basically that's just calling out one or two of the plays that they had called in the huddle. And so it has to do a lot with both. But at the end of the day, the more prepared you are, the better it's going to be. I hope you guys understood that. It was a little bit of a ramble, but let's see what else we have. I agree, George. Canada had limited play calls with Ben at QB. I think it was Mason Rudolph who stated that it was about 25% of the playbook that was used because of the mobility. And also Matt Canada, what he does and what he likes to do as an offensive coordinator, or at least in college, was he ran a lot of motions. He ran a lot of play action pass, and he ran a lot of bootlegs and things of that nature, had the quarterback moving. And when that's about 60% of your offense, then there goes majority of the playbook. With Ben Roethlisberger, they're not being that mobile. He was older, and a lot of folks don't remember he was involved in a car accident in 2005 that not only had damage to his face, but also left his knees wrecked. And so I'll tell you what, I'm 36 years old. I'm a little bit younger than Ben Roethlisberger. I took a stumble the other day, and it took me a while to get back up. I don't know how he did it at 39, but I commend him for it. But let's see what else we have going on. Hey, Homer, how's it going? Awesome. I've been a Steelers fan since 93. I mean, I'm since birth, but from what I can remember was 93. What do I think of Leal? So I like Leal. I think he's going to be good. I'm not sure he's going to be used much this year. I'm from Texas. He's from Texas. In fact, he's from San Antonio, the same state I'm in. And fortunately, because he's a local guy, the news had him on after he was drafted, right? And he was talking about how he'd been talking with the Steelers for a while. And in fact, I think it was our defensive line coach was the guy who ran his pro day. And so he was enthused. He thought it was the Steelers for a while. He said in talks with the Steelers that he was potentially going to go maybe first round with them if he was available. Now, that was probably earlier in the year because he wasn't projected to be a first round pick by the time the draft came around. Now, last year, he was projected to be a first round. However, he didn't have the season he had his year before, and so he did drop back. But it was still a toss up between a day two, day one pick, and I think the Pittsburgh Steelers got their guy. When you think about it, I think all three picks they got their guy. They were ecstatic about the quarterback position in Kenny Pickett. They had their option between all the quarterbacks. Going into the draft, I wasn't really fond of the Steelers picking a quarterback, to be honest with everyone. I was more on the hopes that we would move up for Kyle Hamilton. But unfortunately, he became a Raven, and now I have to live with that. But I digress. And so the one thing I do like was that the Pittsburgh Steelers did their due diligence. Everybody knew they were looking at a quarterback, and they had their choice of the quarterback they wanted, but they went and they looked at I don't know how many different games. In fact, Kevin Colbert stated they went to at least 3 games for each of the players and saw them live X amount of times. They did their due diligence, and they got the guy that they wanted and that they thought. And so given that in mind, I think that they made the right choice in Kenny Pickett. I think that George Pickens was going to be a top 10 wide receiver had he not torn his ACL. And Matt Canada all but said that he was their number one receiver on their board. And so to the Pittsburgh Steelers, they got a first rounder in the top 3 rounds, or first round talent in the top 3. And I like it. Leal's but to go back to the question, as far as what do I think about him? I think he's going to be good. He's got a high motor. He doesn't quit, and he's got heavy hands. I've seen a lot of the sacks that he has. They may have been a coverage sack, a few of them here or there, but you don't get a coverage sack unless you're continuing to play. You don't quit on the play and then all of a sudden they run into you. That's not how it works. And so, those coverage sacks it takes work to get them, so to speak. Let's see what else we got. Name the 3 major nicknames the Steelers team had. Wow. Well, we're Blitzburg. The ones that I know are Blitzburg, the Steel Curtain. That's a nickname. And the Killer Bees. Those are some nicknames. I'm not the history guy. I'm sorry about that. Or the trivia dude. I do know a little bit of things and a little bit of stats, but the trivia stuff, it's not my forte. I apologize. How's it going, David? Good to see you in the chat. Well, there it is. Pirates equals Steelers. Oh, I didn't get what you meant. I thought you meant like nickname. What are the nicknames for them? My bad. I knew about the Steagles and the Steelers. I think they were also called the card something at one point as well. But yeah, guys, so I'm excited about this year. I think that the Pittsburgh Steelers are flying under the radar. I think that the teams are going to overlook them. I know that the biggest question mark and what everybody's asking is going to be the quarterback position. Now, I did see here recently some clips of Kenny Pickett throwing the ball. And one thing that I've noticed about him is that he looks a lot bigger, like muscular. I don't know, a lot of people are. I've watched highlights from him last year, and he seemed kind of skinny. He seemed kind of scrawny. And then he came out on a couple of podcasts before he was drafted by the Steelers, and he looked kind of skinny. I saw him in person. I was out at the Heinz Field. I was at Heinz Field for the draft party right after he was drafted. I stood near him. In fact, I think I have a interview recorded of him talking with Wolf on there at Heinz Field. They were doing an interview. It's on the channel. Go back and watch that once we're done. It's kind of hard to hear. There's a lot of people around, but I did record it. But yeah, I saw him in person. He looked kind of thin. He's a young man. If you go and look at TJ Watt, the year we drafted him, he looks like a beast now compared to what he looked then. And so I think that the transformation's already happening with him, and that's pretty quick. He looks muscular. He looks stronger. I think he's going to surprise people. I think he has an arm. One thing that I think a lot of folks leave out is there was a lot of drops earlier on in his career in Pitt, first couple of years that he was there. And I don't know, maybe he was throwing the ball with a little bit more touch, and that might be something that folks are overlooking his strength or thinking that maybe his arm strength is not that great. But in those clips that I've seen here recently of him practicing, man, he's got some zip, and his the position of the ball and when he's throwing it is impressive. I am excited for this young man, and I think that I understand why Mike Tomlin and Matt Canada and the brass there for the Pittsburgh Steelers were so excited to have him, and that he was available for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm not I don't watch college or follow too much college, so I wasn't familiar too much with his play at Pitt. And I watched some highlights, and one of the things that I've seen that's very impressive about him is his accuracy on the move. But even more so here recently, when he's been able to practice with some pro receivers and really unzip the ball there, it's impressive. It is extremely impressive. I like how he's throwing the ball, and I'm excited about it. I can't wait for him to start. It's one of those things where it's like he's like that toy. You want to use it now, but you got to wait. And so it'll be better if you wait. You know what I mean? And I think it'll be better for Kenny Pickett's progression if he sits 1 year, if he understands the offense better. Nobody comes out of the college perfect or whatnot. Their footwork is going to need help. There's a lot that can be done as far as the detail work when you go to a pro organization, and not having to throw Kenny Pickett into the wolves and allow the Pittsburgh Steelers organization to work on those things is only going to be for his benefit. It's just I get it. The impatience is tough. I want to see him play. I can't wait for him to get out there. Let's see. Steel Curtain, Blitzburg. Oh yeah, the 60-minute men. That was a good one. I remember that one. I used to have a T-shirt back in the day. I used to go to school in with that one. Let's see. Hitman says, "Are the Steelers an 11-win team, and can we win the North?" I think yes to both of those questions. Reason being is it's a long season, so 17 games. I think they would definitely be around the 10 games if it was 16 still. But yeah, I can see them winning 11 to 10 games. I do think the Steelers are going to win the North. The Cincinnati Bengals they had a weak schedule last year. And not only that, they were overlooked quite a bit. And I've said it so many times, the NFL is a copycat league. And with the drafting of the wide receivers and how much the value of the wide receivers jump, I think that the NFL is seeing that the value of Jamar Chase with the Cincinnati Bengals was more important than Joe Burrow last year. I mean, nobody even got a lot of people said that Kenny Pickett was, very similar to Joe Burrow, yet he wasn't drafted till 20, and look at how many receivers went before him. And so I think that good defenses and good coaches, and when you have Mike Tomlin, Terrell Austin, and Brian Flores there, they're going to be able to scheme out a skill position. And I think that we're going to be able to contain him. He's going to get his yards. He's going to be able to do things. But if you look back at our defenses in the past, like Ocho Cinco didn't do much against us. We never got burnt by the big receivers in the division. It never happened. We were able to scheme them out. And so I think that's going to be the same with Jamar Chase this upcoming year. And I think the teams are going to see that. They're not going to take him light. They have a first. They won the division last year, so now they have a strength of schedules, a little bit tougher this year. And so ours is significantly less. Last year, I think we had the toughest schedule going into the year. This year, we have the third easiest. I think that the teams out there in the AFC West are going to beat each other up, and that's going to allow us to really fight for that first round. And I know it sounds crazy to say, but for that first round spot there, because you can't see that the Chargers can't sweep their division, and the Chiefs, the Chargers, The Raiders and the Broncos cannot all sweep the division. They all have to lose. Somebody's going to lose there, and they're going to beat each other up. So there's going to leave us a great opportunity to get a first round bye if we can win the division. I don't see anybody in the other divisions that are that much stronger than us. Was in the South with the Colts. They might win that the Tennessee Titans. I don't think they're that tough. Probably the Buffalo Bills might be the tough team in the East. I know there's some pictures of Mac Jones coming out there right now, and he's looking thinner, but Bill Belichick didn't trust Mac Jones last year against the Bills in that, weather game. Maybe he's not all that great. I don't know. I digress on Mac Jones. But I think the Steelers can come out and win those first 4 games. I think we're going to punch Cincinnati in the mouth. I think we're going to do well against them. I think we're going to beat Mac Jones. Cleveland Browns is a mess, and the Jets I think we'll be able to handle them. And I think that's when we're going to actually show some teams some things. But we're going to surprise some teams at that point. But yeah, I think that I definitely think we have a good opportunity to win the North, but it's going to come down to that quarterback position at the end of the day. If our quarterback doesn't play well, then the likelihood of us winning is going to be bad. But I think our team can do something with the quarterback room that we have. I honestly do. Let's see what else we have. Over under 7. Oh, I'm going way over. I'm saying that we're going to be around the 10 to 12 range. That's where I'm thinking that we're going to end up lying in. I think we go in 4-0, but I think we're going to probably split with the Ravens. Let's look up the schedule real quick. Let's see what we got. Let's break it down. Let's see. So we're opening it up against the Bengals. Now, that is a tough game. I'm not going to say it's not. But one thing that I've said that's to our advantage is the Bengals defense is an aggressive defense. If you look back a couple of years back when they popped Juju and did the whole fumble and he was dancing on the logo, yada, 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 there was a lot of openings behind him. And if Ben Roethlisberger would have allowed the play to develop, we could have really scored significant amount of points during that game. However, at that point, we were throwing the ball very quick. Ben had an injury earlier in the year. I was at that game. It was against the Cowboys. They went into his knee. And after that, he was not the same quarterback last year. We went into very much immobile and very much throwing the ball significantly faster and shorter. And so a lot of folks don't remember he had a significant knee injury in Dallas. But, the Bengals are going to play us a certain way, and I think a lot of teams are. There's a question mark at quarterback, and we're going to hand the ball to Najee Harris quite a bit. So they're going to play us aggressive. They're going to put a lot of people in the box. And I think that if we can do some play action pass, do some deep throws and allow either Chase or George Pickens to eat, I think there are going to be some openings out there. Also with Pat Freiermuth down the middle. The Steelers kind of stayed away from the middle of the field last year. And I think we're going to come out doing some different things, and we're going to surprise this team and come out early. I think being it's the first game of the year gives us an edge because we're relatively unknown on offense. All right, the second game is at home. It's the home opener against the Patriots. I really do see the Steelers taking this game. I really do. I'm not impressed with I'm not scared. Let me put that. I'm not scared of Mac Jones or what they can do offensively. Defensively, they're going to be good. Bill Belichick is always good defensively. And so it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a close game. But I do think that the fact that we're at home is going to give us the edge. The Thursday night against the Browns, who knows what the quarterback position there in Cleveland looks like. It's probably going to be, what was his name? Jacoby Brissett. And, give me 1 second. It's probably going to be Jacoby Brissett, and I'm not terrible. They got a good defense. They got a good offense. Myles Garrett's okay, but he's a good defensive end, a good edge rusher, but he's been okay against the Steelers. He's not hurt us. He's not wrecked us as a team, and so there's not a team that I fear. I think that we can scheme out of it. We just got to throw the ball quick. Let's see. Then we got the New York Jets. I know that might be a trap game. That might be a game we're overlooking. That might be a game we might stumble in because we got New York or we have Buffalo at Buffalo the next week. And so I can see that being a game that's a trap game. Uh, I really hope that the Steelers are over that now, given the fact that we shouldn't be looking over anybody, given how poorly we've played offensively the last couple of years. But if any game comes in as a trap game, I think it's that one. But the next few games are going to be where I think is going to be tough. Um, well, with that one with Buffalo, and then you have Tampa Bay. Uh, the Buccaneers, that's going to be at home. I'm going to be at that game. So if anybody's going to be there, come say hello. We'll be out there. But the Tampa Bay game, that one's interesting. That one's going to be a toss-up game, in my opinion. I never say the Steelers are going to lose. The games that I think that we potentially could drop, I say they're a toss-up. And so, that one right there is a toss-up game. It's going to depend on Brady. If he ends up falling off a cliff or whatnot, which there's been some signs kind of that. It's been more the team around him than Brady here in the recent years. And so I honestly think we can get him this year. I think we got him. At Miami, I think we're going to be able to win that game. If it was earlier in the season, that's when they usually give us trouble because of the humidity and the heat. I'm not worried about that. I'm also not worried about the Eagles. I know it's in Philadelphia. I know we've had some trouble out there, but these mobile quarterbacks like the Jalen Hurts or Deshaun Watson or even Lamar Jackson, I feel that our defense is designed for them, and they don't worry me as much. We have the bye week after that. Then we're playing New Orleans. Jameis Winston's coming off the ACL. He's before that he was throwing, I think it was like 14 touchdowns to 3 interceptions, something like that. He was on pace to do some good things. I think they blew out the Green Bay Packers early last year. I just that's going to be a good game. I think they're under the radar too. One of my colleagues is a huge Saints fan. He's actually going to come out on the cast soon to talk about the NFC South since we'll be playing them this year. That's going to be a good game. I might be at that game as well. Then we're playing Cincinnati in home. It's a primetime game. It's at night. I think that we're going to show up. We're just going to show up. I say we sweep the Bengals this year. They've beat us the last 3 games. It's about time we pay back. We return the favor. So then we got the Colts, the Falcons, Baltimore, and Carolina. Out of those games, Baltimore's always going to be tough just because they're a division game. The Colts, Matt Ryan is a statue. TJ Watt's going to feast on him. And I think our defense likes a statue type of quarterback because, you're playing 11 on 10 at that point. You don't have to worry about him running. And so Colts don't worry me. Falcons, we've had I remember the last time we played Mariota was when he was with the Titans, and I loved playing him against Mariota, and that's a good game. I can't wait for that game too. Baltimore, like I said, that one's going to be the tough one, just because it's always a tough game against the Ravens. It's always going to be a tough game. It's a division game. It's at home. We're definitely going to have to win this game. If we're going to end up splitting with them, you're going to have to win your home games. Then the following week we see Baker against Carolina. I think that's going to be that's cake too. That we got that. I know I'm sounding confident, but we have the 3rd easiest schedule. And it's all going to boil down to, I guess, our quarterback position. But I got some confidence in the room, and I got confidence in our coaching staff that they're going to be able to do something. And so then we finish out the year with the Raiders, Baltimore, and Cleveland. Now, that Raider game is going to be the day after the anniversary of the Immaculate Reception. I believe that the Vegas Raiders will be in, let's see, I think that they're the team that if you're going to be playing any team in the West, I'd prefer to play the Raiders. Russell Wilson and or Pat Mahomes or Herbert. Those are guys that when you look at the quarterback position in Carr, I think that I would prefer to play Carr. So I like this game, but just the fact that it's right after the anniversary of the Immaculate Reception, the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be having so many ceremonies. They're probably going to bring back the team from the 70s. It's going to be amazing. The atmosphere is going to be awesome. It's at the end of the season, so it's going to be playoff-like atmosphere. It's going to be a big game. It's prime time. It's on Saturday night before. It's on Christmas Eve. It's on my wedding anniversary. The Steelers are going to have to kick their tail, and they're going to win that game. There's no way they're losing that game. No way, not on that night. No way. So, next two games are divisional games. Cleveland, I'm not too worried about. If Deshaun Watson does play this following season, it will be in this game. I highly doubt that that's the case, though. And so I think that these two games is going to be that Baltimore game. And that Baltimore game on January 1st, on New Year's Day, is going to be for the division. Watch it. I think that whoever wins that game wins the division. And I think that's going to be the game to watch. That's going to be the game to watch. And I think we finish out the season. Let's see. If we were to, I think we're going to have to win that Baltimore game at the end to win the division. But I'm saying we'll win 10, 11 games. And we win the division. We win the North. And I think Kenny Pickett plays Week 18 in a game that doesn't mean anything. That's what's going to happen. That's my prediction this year. I look forward to it. Let's see what else we have. Yeah, you're right. There are no easy wins in the NFL. I'm just a hyped guy right now because I'm waiting for the season to start. I'm going to training camp in a couple weeks. Guys, hit that like and subscribe button. I'll be putting out content from the training camp. I'll be posting up what videos I can take, and hopefully, fortunate enough, if I can get an interview with a player or coach, that'd be great. You don't want to miss any of that, so hit that like and subscribe button. Let's see. Oh yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. My brother-in-law gave me this hat. It's awesome. My other one, I was using it earlier, and it's hot out here in Texas, so I have to wash it now. Let's see. What is Aquatic Life? I would want to play any other team in the West than Las Vegas. It's always bad juju, no pun against them. That is true, but usually that comes against them while we're away. When we're either in Oakland or in Las Vegas, this is a home game. It'll be interesting. If anybody's interested in going to that game, guys, I do have season tickets. I do sell the games. I have that one available. And for a subscriber, I'll give you guys a pretty good discount. And so hit me up. My email is at the bottom there. It's stateofthesteelers@gmail.com. If you're interested in any of the games that I have available for sale right now are, we have the Cincinnati game, the Baltimore game, the Vegas game, and the Cleveland game still available. So hit me up if you guys are interested. So with that being said, guys, I talked a lot today. I'm a little bit out of it. I'll be going ahead signing out tonight. I appreciate everybody coming on board. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Congratulations to Alex this past 4th of July. Alex Arneson from Facebook. He won the contest. I gave away 2 tickets to the Jets game. And he was on the live when we gave him away, and he won it. Congratulations. On Monday, guys, we're going live with Devin Engel. I'm sorry. We're going live with Devin Engel from the Here We Go show. You don't want to miss that, so please hit that like and subscribe button. With that being said, guys, I'm Daniel J. This is State of the Steelers.